So I figure about March. Okay.
March
is 1st to 2nd.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a seat. We'll get our meeting started. We have lots to cover today. Again, thank you. Thank you for coming in today. This is our last of 5 Baker to Vegas team captain meetings. And I can tell you from the amount of shirts unpicked up, we're probably going to be busy for the next few days or so trying to nail down who's coming in here to pick these shirts up, or do we take them all to Las Vegas? It's a little bit of a pain to do that, but that's where we are. Take an opportunity now to certainly introduce and to thank some people that make this race possible. And let me start off with over here in the corner. Raise your hand there, Rick. This is Rick Santos, the race director and the rules chairman, and about to take on a task that he'll find 48 or 60 hours between the Friday afternoon until Sunday and the sun goes down. He probably won't get much sleep, but he's going to learn that lesson the tough way. Rules Committee, and they're here today assisting in the distribution of our challenge coins, Team Captain Challenge coin. Be sure you do get that today. And those up on the stage assisting in the team T-shirts. Most of you will not see and probably don't run into others that do assist in this race. And I want to take a moment here to mention them. Coordinating our award ceremony and the vendor operation is the general manager of LAPAC. That's Ruben Crane. Turn around, Ruben. Wave to the crowd there. Barbara Ginn downstairs is handling our Chiefs VIP reception. I'll get into that as I get through the minutes in here, but be sure that you know that name, Barbara Ginn, G-I-N-N, and we'll talk a little bit later about whether your chief got that information or they didn't and what to do about it. Handling all of our Baker to Vegas merchandise is Debbie Rhodes. This is her staff of folks up here handling the product that you see. Up on the stage and brought in today, the crew of RV support is Lisa Villa, who handles our coordination of RV support crew. And certainly want to thank anyone willing to come and fight LA traffic to come in here and assist us. Our medical team, and I'll go over the medical operation in a bit here, but we have several people, many people now involved in the medical application of this race. Very important. Dr. Troy Pennington, Robert Seabreeze, Mike Leslie, Janet Lester, all assisting in making sure that we safely get through this event. Now pause a moment. Someone wrote me a question and said, what do I know what the weather's going to be on March 17th? And I said, if I had a crystal ball and could determine that, I would be there betting on basketball or something. I don't know. And I'm sure you don't know. We'll see what it is much closer to the event and adjust from that. Handling our amateur radio operations and overseeing a big part of this communication effort is Joy Madlack. Margie's here with us today. Jeff Lee coordinates our frequencies, several hundred frequencies, and are going to make sure that our medical operation, our medical radio frequency works. We just finished a test of that frequency, took several people out onto the race course with all of their equipment. And I have to tell you, when I took a look at the radio tower built by one of those folks about 80 feet in the air, it was an impressive sight to see that. All these relay stations are out there because there is no 911 system in that part of the world. So all your telephone calls on your cell phone, if you're stuck out there in the middle of stage 6, 7, and 8, you'll never get help because that does not work. This system works because these folks go out there and put all of their effort and intellect into making something happen where there isn't any resources whatsoever. Remarkable. Our race motors, Larry Weehedge will have a crew of our race motors out there to assist us at the start with escorting your follow vehicle from one position to another, and then also to be out there to help any runners that becomes straggled by the fact that their follow car is not right behind them at the moment, and also to enforce our driving rules. Sam Zerby, I have to tell you, is our technical advisor. I call him, Tony calls him at least once a week with a problem and how to solve something using our system. He's a great problem solver. I want to mention two other people here that really went to bat, and I mean to bat at the last minute. One of those, I have never met the gentleman. His name is Jason Merrick. He was recommended by the young lady that's up on the stage there, Michelle, and said he could help with a photograph sent in by the teams, and he did. And he went to work with photographs of varying qualities, varying situations, put them into a central kind of format, and I think when you see that on your bib number, to those that have requested that, I think you'll be very impressed. And I want to thank Jason for that effort. At the last minute, our water sponsor didn't come through, and we were faced with the probability of having to just go out and purchase water. And Janet Lester, a part of our medical team, said, hold on, wait, I'll do some work, I'll find somebody, and she did. And this is the kind of effort you will call on, I call on it all the time. When there's a problem and there's a need, you put that help call out, and you get assistance. It's great to see. We stand at 278 teams. That's 4 more than last year. And while there are certainly a few that are sitting on an ice block and trying to make it to the finish line before the 20th runner poops out on them, and I know that situation, and we'll try to hang with you the best as possible. If by any chance you fall out of this race between now and the time we leave here, call me. Send me an email. I don't need to know the reason why. I just need to know whether you're going to run or not. If you fall out after I leave here, which is Thursday before the race, then absolutely call me. The system will not work with a team that doesn't finish. So we must have that information in there. So be sure that you let me know if that happens to you. Now I'm going to call up a few guests that wanted to come up and say a few words. Where's our football man here? Centurions been playing football for a long time. I've been on the job 48 years. And I remember the Centurions 48 years ago, so it's nice to see that they're still alive.
Thank you, Chuck. That's correct. Good morning, runners. My name is Mark Ross. I'm a sergeant down at Southeast, and I just wanted to introduce our program briefly. We'll have the floor. The LAPD Centurions, you see a flyer on your desk, on your table. On March 16th, we're going to be having a football game. We're going to be playing the Inland Empire and Force. It's a culmination of the Inland Empire agencies coming together to come play LAPD officers. The LAPD Centurions are a team comprised of LAPD officers of various ranks and assignments throughout the city of LA who come together to play football for kids. And when I mean kids is we play football for the Blind Children's Center located at Rampart. We've been playing for them for 40 years. We've raised over $700,000 in that time frame, getting that going. Not only do we just give them checks or the relationships organic. I sit on a board for the Blind Children's Center, and we do several other events other than just games. Blind Children's Center is privately funded, takes no federal or state grants, serves approximately 350 kids free of charge who are blind or visually impaired. We also treat and coach and take care and counsel the families in dealing with it, their blindness or any type of visual impairment they might have. I'm here because a good way for us to generate some revenue and cover some of our operating costs is having attendance at our game. And it's a $5 entry fee. Children under 12 are free. and it's a great time. Come out and support your officers, traveling the country, playing other first responders on their own dime and time, having some fun. We'll go out and have a beer after. Come join with me. I'd like to close too. If anybody's thinking about starting a nonprofit or would like to get into nonprofit work, please reach out to me and I can maybe help you facilitate that. Maybe something with the Blind Children's Center if you ever thought about sitting on a board, or you wanted to start a nonprofit, or you have a nonprofit now and need some consulting, funding, or business operations. I'd be more than happy to help you out on that as well. So March 16th, Clark High School, just west of the Strip. Raiders going to be there. They just called me today when I was having breakfast. They're sending out their contingent, so it's going to be a great game. Come out, enjoy, have a great time. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
I'll be sure to place a flyer. I'm sure it'll go on our website. Ruben, will we have a flyer on the website? Oh, it's on there now? Okay, so take a look at the website. I would recommend that you do view the website. And we'll try, certainly in this last few days, is all we have left here, to post information that's vitally important to you. Start times. I know that's important to you. Your category, the list of the category, the number of mugs per category, all vital information to you. And we'll post that on the website, so be sure you look at it. When I send out the cross-reference and the form status list, right now the form status list has your volunteer's name in invisible ink. Remarkable stuff. So you don't see a name in there. And very shortly here, I'm going to change that and have that in ink that you can read. And you'll be able to quickly see that is the correct volunteer and they're working that assignment. So we'll put that onto the website, so be sure you monitor it. Daniel Signs from the Credit Union. Talking to someone today from the Credit Union, says, do we have money to give away? I said, I'll be right in line, wherever that is.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Just a couple last minute housekeeping items before we make our way down to race day. Sponsorships, last call for sponsorships. So if anybody's team or agencies within LA County and you guys need funds to help support you guys, please reach out to us. We've sponsored, I believe, about 39 teams so far, so I need 40. So if there's another team out there within LA County that needs some sponsorship, reach out to us. We're at the end over here. If we've already sponsored you and you guys don't have your vehicle decals, come see us as well. We have vehicle decals courtesy of Smitty Signworks back there. You can put these on the side of your vehicles, your follow vehicles, and it just shows us as a proud sponsor of your team. We realize you guys are also having barbecue fundraisers, so that's another way we can help support and offset some of the costs you guys are raising for the race itself. Also wanted to remind you guys to come to our booth. We have a big booth at the finish line at the award ceremony at the West Gate. We're also going to be at the LA County Sheriff's Homicide Barbecue. So we're going to have two different crews working that day, two different booth setups. The booth at the West Gate is actually going to be a sort of interactive social media experience. So if you guys are on social media, I see a lot of the teams that actually do have social media pages and agencies with social media pages. Follow us at LAPFCU on Instagram, Los Angeles Police Federal Credit Union on Facebook. We'll be posting all weekend. That's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, come see us. I have a couple sponsorship checks already. So if you're here, come see us and we can give you your check. San Fernando Police Department, Hollywood, LAPD Hollywood, LAPD Topanga, and LAPD West LA. So we have your checks in the back. Come see us before you leave today. Thank you. Thanks.
If those teams don't show up, we'll endorse those checks over and you'll be happy to have that money. They don't show up today. Javier. We have Javier Rodriguez, again, is going to raffle off a tablet. And part of fundraising, though I know we're into this last stretch of time here. So come on up, Javier. Explain a little bit about what's possible in this last few weeks.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Real quick, I just wanted to thank everybody for their support. We do two main things. Number one is the fundraising barbecues. We just surpassed literally tens of thousands of dollars that have been raised for the various teams out there. We just finished San Bernardino last week, and we're able to break over $1,000 in just 3 hours, and that always helps with the expenses. We do have some spots for February and in the early part of March as well. So if you are interested in that, just fill out that form that's on your table. Also, we are rolling out a new plan where we have partnered up with VIPbooking.com, which is the largest and fastest growing travel agency. We're going to be donating a stay for 6 nights and 5 days in Cancun at a 5-star Mayan Palace. That's what it's called. I just came from there in January, and I was blown away with the location. We're going to be able to donate that to you so that you can then raffle it off or hold that, some of you like to call it, an opportunity drawing to help you raise funds throughout the year as well. So if you want to know any more about what we're doing, and if you want to take up one of our spots to make some last minute cash, just fill out the form. And also, we're going to go ahead and do the raffle at the end of the meeting. So if you want to at least enter the raffle and walk out hopefully with the tablet, just fill out the form in front of you, turn it into the table here to my left, to your right, and we can go ahead and do that. So I just want to, again, congratulate everybody from, we did MEU, Robbery Homicide, we're talking about Pomona, we're talking about San Bernardino. It's been a very busy last couple of months, but we've surpassed the tens of thousands of dollars raised for the various teams. And so again, what a better way to raise some last minute funds and be that much better off for yourself and for your team as well. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Our last guest up here, Mark, going to come up, and this is from Mobile Radio Associates, a radio rental company that wants to come up and say a few words. Plus, we are having some raffles. They're on the table, right?
Yeah.
The sign-ups are on the tables. I think we're going to raffle off 2 $25 gift cards.
Well,
Right, George?
actually, we have 2 $50 gift cards. Got to fill out this form and turn it in. So we got 2 $50 gift cards, and then we got a couple smaller ones. I think a $30 and a $15 one to Soup Plantation. Anyway, what I wanted to address was the issue of the radio communications around the course. For those of you that have been on the course before, you know that cell phones don't work over about 60% of the course, and most of the radios that you rent only talk maybe a half a mile to a couple miles up and down the race course from wherever you're at. We have a digital radio network, and we've got a booth over there on the side of the room. And the digital radio network allows you to talk from anywhere to anywhere on the race course. So you can be at the hotel, at the Westgate, at the headquarters, or if you're headquartered in a different hotel, you can be in your hotel room and you can talk to the start line. You can talk to stage 5, 7, 9, 11. You can talk to all the stages. And you can talk almost everywhere in between. We cover approximately 98% of the race course. So a lot of people, when they've looked at our coverage maps, they think, well, gee, it works in this area, but it only works for a short distance. No, ours is different than everybody else. So if you rented radios from anybody but us, or from Omni Communications or Rebel, whom we are working with, and if you have rented anything else than that, you're going to have limited communications. If you're using ham radio operators, of course, it'll work fine for whatever the ham radio operators have for their coverage. But in terms of the commercial rentals, we're the only ones that really cover the entire race course. So if you're interested, come see us after the meeting is over with, and we'll be happy to discuss what we can do for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And do stick around. Winner must be present for these raffles. Okay, so we'll do them right at the end of the meeting. Medical. This is how medical will function. Last year, 6 people were taken off the course to the hospital. 4 to Pahrump, 2 to Las Vegas. The 2 that were taken to Las Vegas, when they were grilled by the doctor that were there, copped out immediately to what they had done wrong. So I'm going to tell you right now, corral your runners. Hydrate before the race, which does not mean drink alcohol. Prior to the race, they're going to have to go dry for about 36 to 48 hours. I know that's going to be tough for some, but that is the chore. If you want to run, and you want to run well, and you want to get a mug or possibly win a category, you will depend on 20 runners to run 20 stages as fast as they can go. And to do that, they have to be optimally correct. Anything less than that, And two things are going to happen. One, they're going to slow down. Two, they'll never make it to the end of that stage. And you'll replace them, take a 10-minute penalty, and lose that position of the mug or winning a category. So you really have to pay attention to what your runners do and how they take care of themselves prior to the race. Very important. We're going to have the biggest, most experienced crew of medical personnel in California the race has ever had. There are 26 doctors, attending doctors, physicians, and physician assistants over the first 9 stages of the race. Never happened before like that. Hopefully not needed, but they're certainly going to be there. So be sure that you've taken care of your runners and they're doing things properly. I see this on Friday. It's easy to see. You don't have to be a D3 to walk around that room at Westgate Hotel and see the runners that have smarts in their head because they're either drinking Gatorade or water. And those that don't have 2 beers in their fingers. And just like buzzards circling over dead bodies, you can just tell this is going to be somebody aiming for the hospital the following day. So be sure you don't do that. Westgate is sold out and been sold out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, several weeks now. This is a busy time in Las Vegas. I don't have to tell you that. You tried other places, you've realized that. Go over the rule book. It's a quick, simple read. Won't take you much time. Go over the rule book. For the LAPD teams here, while we stopped asking for your deployment 13 rosters some time ago, it's very simple. Who is in your station as of deployment period 13/2017, which I believe ended December the 26th or 5th or something like that? Who's in your station there? That is the eligible people to run. If someone left there at deployment period 1, made sergeant, made detective, and left your station, went somewhere else, they are still your person. Anyone graduating from academy classes that lands into your lap and can run, well, good for you, because they're eligible to run right out of an academy, right to your station. So be sure that we follow the rules correctly here. And believe me, nobody complains about a team finishing 270th. But if you finish 5th in a category and somebody's right behind you in 6th and you win the mug and they don't, and they beat you by 10 seconds or a minute, they're going to go right down your roster. They're going to call your station and say, are these people assigned their DP13? Come right into the rules committee and lay you out like a dead fish. So don't screw up here. Read the rule book. The waiver form. The waiver form is on the website. Download the waiver form, have your runners read the information, and sign it. It is the only document that we need when you come in to register, the waiver form. I do not need your run plan. Don't send it to me. Keep it for yourself. I do not need your run plan. I will download those run plans on Monday, March the 12th at 10:01 when I shut the system off. I'll download your run plan from there. And even so, I know there'll still be changes, and we'll accept those when you come in. But on registration in Las Vegas, you will need to bring in your waiver form. If your personnel are scattered all over the state of California, then they download that form, they sign it, scan it, send it back to you. A simple operation. So we need those waiver forms completed. The sheriff's homicide barbecue was mentioned. It'll be in the minutes as an attachment. It's on Sunday, March the 18th. I'll give you the address, but you'll get it in the minutes. 3301 Martin Avenue. Begins at 1100, goes to 15. Again, if you're chief of police, agent in charge, sheriff, whomever is your head of your agency has not received an invitation to 2 events. Friday evening, what time? 7 p.m. There is a President's Mixer there at the Westgate Hotel, Friday, 7 p.m. On Sunday at 3 in the afternoon, prior to the award ceremony, is a Chiefs Mixer. Those are the 2 events. If they have not received that, then in the minutes, but I'll give it to you right now, is the person to send an email. The email goes to B, as in boy, Ginn, Ginn, at Laprac, LAPRAAC.com. She coordinates this. If she's missed somebody, we've missed somebody, then be sure you find out, number 1, have we missed them? 2 is send her the name of the person, their address, their title, and she'll get that invitation out to them. I mentioned the online running registration. In the form status list, where it says RR, that's runner registration. I scan down that looking for at least a small letter R. That means you've started the process. You've opened it up, used your team number, used your password, and you've at least completed the simple things. What's your name? What's the name of your team? Now begin to download or bring in to load your runners. When it becomes an X, you've completed that process. I'm looking for blank spaces. When I see a blank space, I'm going to send you an email. Say, don't you know what to do? You at least know your name. You know the name of your team. Put that in there. Start putting in your runners in the order in which they're going to run. Timing of the race will be the same as we did last year. This is done with a computer and a camera, which means that every single runner coming through an exchange will have their photograph taken and their time taken. There is a link in a website in which you can look at that information, and we'll get that to you. We're experimenting a little bit with the possibility of getting onto the internet from stage 2, which has no internet service out there, in order for this time to go live as fast as it can. We'll see if that operation works and how it works, but it's an experiment to do that. There's a briefing schedule that'll be a part of the minutes. I'll send that to you. The briefing schedule is simple. The registration for all teams begins at 3 p.m. Westgate Hotel Convention Area, where you bring in your waiver form. We give you your run plan, and of those that haven't picked up t-shirts, challenge coins, that sort of thing, we'll issue those. You will get your extra bib numbers. That is the yellow number that is for the alternates on your team, the green numbers that are for your catchers. You get those numbers as well as a stage 16 placard. I'll get into that in just a minute, but you'll pick up all of that information there at the convention room. At 18:30 is a meeting of the follow vehicle drivers and the support group. At 1900 is a team captain's briefing. It's our last opportunity to say what's happening on that race course before the race. To those that can't make that meeting, and there are many that don't, then we'll hold the same meeting at 0800 Baker School Saturday morning. And invariably, there are people that try to leave Los Angeles at noon on Friday who think they can drive to Las Vegas in 3.5 hours, only to discover they don't get to Barstow in 3 hours. Now they're stuck and they miss the meeting. And if you miss the meeting in Las Vegas, then you must attend that in Baker. So even if you're a 3 o'clock in the afternoon start, you'll be in Baker at 0800 to take care of this paperwork. So let's not let that happen. Leave early out of Los Angeles and you won't be in that traffic jam. The baton decal is finished. All of it is done, printed, and soon to be in our hands. Memory serves me right, there's 45 names on that baton decal, the most there's ever been. Took up most of the decal to place all those names there. But that will be on the baton, on the running baton that each team gets. It's your baton. When the race is over, you keep the baton. Last runner, 4.6 miles. Recently on the course, there's no change on that course. A few more people live along there, but that's the only change. The last stage of the race. The follow vehicle will follow the runner in a cone pattern from Fort Apache, east on Desert Inn, through numerous intersections controlled by the Las Vegas Metro Police, by our volunteers, to safely get through those intersections. But nonetheless, no music. And when I say no music, folks, I mean nothing. Zero. I don't care what invention you have, nothing. If you can't run that distance without the benefit of music blasting in your ears, then there's definitely something wrong with your running. So nothing. Nothing in that last stages from 18 to the finish, because we do not police all of the driveways. And there's hundreds of driveways, nor the small streets. So you must keep your wits about you and the follow vehicle. When they reach the underpass of Las Vegas Boulevard, this course goes over the 15 freeway and underneath Las Vegas Boulevard. The cone pattern will reduce down to just the runner's width, where the follow vehicle now leaves the runner, drives up to a very, very big intersection at Desert Inn and Paradise. It's a 6-lane in each direction intersection. It's huge. So the vehicle's going to get through there as any other vehicle would normally go through there. We have it policed. We have the Las Vegas Metro officers there, but it's still a very big intersection to get through. The runners are our first priority. They'll get through there safely. They'll now run in a cone pattern, right-hand side of the road to the entrance, then eventually to the convention center and the finish line. Leave the runner there. A possibility, not completely hashed out, but a possibility here. Across the street, on the north side of the hotel, where the Riviera Hotel used to be at one time, is now one large parking lot. We will look into and possibly try to get use of that parking lot for the follow vehicles. So instead of driving into the Westgate Hotel to the taxi area, dropping off that person, we're going to attempt to see if it's possible to use that parking lot, have that vehicle parked there, and not be scrambling around going through the valet area to the far end of the hotel and searching for parking. Hasn't been worked out, so it's not a guarantee. We'll see how that goes. I will notify you of any changes. Don't leave vehicles unattended. Don't do that. I see that once in a while. Our officials see that once in a while. Doors open up, people plop out, and they leave their vehicle unattended, like they were still home. So don't do that. In the room is Smitty. Smitty, wave your hand back there. This is your one last good opportunity to pick up your reflective number that goes in the back of your follow vehicle. You must have a reflective number in the back of that follow vehicle and a caution runner ahead sign. This will be looked for at the vehicle check-in, and you don't want to be scrambling around trying to borrow one from somebody else. So be sure that you have that. We will send out notification only to the new teams who will ask you to have your vehicle inspected there at the Westgate Hotel in the parking lot right in front of the convention room. It's a small parking area. And we'll inspect those vehicles of brand new teams. I'm going to ask our crew here, Andrew Lee, I'll give him the numbers of those teams and the contacts. We're going to try to make sure we set up if not an appointment schedule, then certainly a clear time of when we'll get that vehicle done and where that is. I'm going to read this off to you. It probably only pertains to those of you in the particular categories in which you're in. This is the mug breakdown. We attempt as best as possible, 50% of the teams in every category will receive a mug. Today is the last day that I can talk to the mug manufacturer and say, change the 150 category from this many mugs to that many mugs. And you'll make that change. Tomorrow, not so easy. The day after that, impossible. You'll change, I know you will, and that's just part of the way it is. When that happens, the numbers become unbalanced, and it's not 50%. And we'll take our lumps and see what we do about that. But here's the situation. In the 150 category, there are 8 teams right now, and 4 will get mugs. In the 300 category, there are 9 teams. 5 will get mugs. 500 invitational, 31 teams, 16 mugs. 800 years category, and this was a change as of today. 15 teams, currently it's 7. I'll move that up to 8. As long as the numbers don't change, there'll be 8. That might mean, I doubt seriously if we'll get a mug. Our old blue team has been sinking like a rock. And we need some new people. All right, our oldest guy has got to be in his 80s, and I'm not the youngest one, and I'm over 70. So we could use some help. You retired people are about to be retired. 99 category has moved from 10 teams now to 8, and will be 4 mugs. Station category, 28 teams, 14 mugs. Invitational mixed, 50 teams, 25 mugs. Invitational category, 31 teams, 16 mugs. Mixed, 30 teams, 15 mugs. Open, 32 teams, 16 mugs. Station invitational, and I would have probably put a meat axe to this one had I had a little more time. I thought it would have done better, but it only has 4 teams in it. So right now that is 2 mugs. And for the 4 teams in that station invitational, mulling over between the summer, we'll probably be discontinuing that category. I'd give you more time, but there's not enough time now for you to scramble around and do something else. But chances are there won't be that category next year. 800 invitational, 5 teams, 3 mugs. Another category that is questionable for the future. Invitational mixed, 800, 16 teams, 8 mugs. Women, 11 teams, 6 mugs. I'll wait for this afternoon to see what occurs as far as teams in this room or teams that are listening and get a hold of me and change whether this math changes or not. But before the week's end, I will send this out to you. You'll see it and you'll know what's possible for you. On the website and in the email I'll send you is a flyer for additional mugs. Win a mug, and you can contact the manufacturer here and order as many as you like. War Room, 0600 Sunday morning, they begin operations. They'll go through all of the material, looking for any down runners, any problems, any infractions, add those to your time, post the unofficial results at 1100. So they have 5 hours to crank this out. At 1100 hours, they'll post the unofficial results in front of the war room. If you see penalties to your team, you'll have that opportunity to come in and work on it. In this last couple of weeks, numerous times have I made phone calls, emails. I'm not one much for texting, but occasionally do that, trying to reach you. And I'm telling you right now, all of you, when I call you, answer your phone. You'll see my number flash up. Answer the phone. I don't care what you're doing. Answer the phone. I'm not calling you to ask you the time of day. I'm not calling you to say, how are you? So answer the phone. It's for something important, something missing. Do that. The Rules Committee will get the complete information about every single team, captain, co-captain, and most importantly, cell numbers. They'll get this because if there's any notification made directly on that Sunday morning, it's going to be between those individuals and you to come in and explain something. So be sure that you have your phone on and that it is the correct phone number. Once in a great while, I'll call somebody and I find out that you've given me your department number that you've given to somebody else. I said, okay, that's great. So let's be sure that the information I have for you on record is accurate. Your volunteer assignments have gone out. Every single assignment has gone out. And I have to tell you, there are people who come back for this race that don't have to. They don't have to. They're not associated with teams anymore. Or the team has a second volunteer and they still want to come back because they like doing this. I take my hat off to them. I can't thank them enough. They're key people. Officers in charge, people that drive light towers, key individuals that come back to this race. Tony got his first real dose of what happens when officers in charge, veteran ones, don't return. And how do you find somebody else to take that place? And in 5 occasions on 5 different stages of this race, we had to replace somebody. That is tough to do. Hard to ask somebody to come out there and be the officer in charge when the only experience they've had is to work that station for a few times. But they're willing to do it, and they're willing to learn. And like a lot of you in here, this is a baptism of fire. You only have one shot, and that's it. And that's for them the same way. So the information has gone out. We get a few returns of volunteers that say, whoa, wait a second here. I don't want that assignment. And we say to you, the team captain, hey, your volunteer just quit. Find somebody else. Okay, that happens. Please, everybody? No. No. Hopefully the most, but not everybody. So some assignments are crummy. Absolutely crummy. And I'll pick on one team here because they still haven't given me their assignment. West LA, LAPD, West LA. So the best I can tell you, West LA, is you're going to get the absolute crummiest assignment there is for making me have to wait this long. Sorry, but that's how it works. In the minutes, and if you go back far enough in this race, you would have seen Larry come up here and talk about preparation. Get your plans in order. Get your backup plans in order. Whatever you think is going to work out there, sometimes just doesn't work. And you better have a backup plan and some other things in mind when that fails. So be sure you have that squared away for yourselves. Before I pass here though, Larry did have, I think he called it the 7 Ps or the 8 Ps, I forgot what it was. And I've forgotten most of them, but he was very blunt about it. And I always love that old guy because he was very direct. Right to you, it said, prepare for the race. Yeah, things are going to fail. Prepare for the race the best that you can. You'll get through it. Your follow vehicle. We had a great follow vehicle out here from Glendale, and I think we made a good impression on the new teams that saw that follow vehicle. It is critical. The amber light that is on your vehicle is at the top of the vehicle and seen for 360 degrees around the vehicle. Don't place it in front of your sign because you can't see it from the rear. Be sure that it is operational. Have your backup with you, your little bubble Kojak light backup. Asked a question earlier about passing vehicles, passing runners on Highway 160, Pahrump to Fort Apache. Yeah, that is a tough area. The shoulder of the road is wide enough that we can drive in that shoulder and stay off the rumble strip right behind the runner. But when a runner is going to overtake another vehicle, now comes the question, what's the best way for that to happen? The absolute best way is that the vehicle being overtaken stops. Just stop. That runner going around you will figure out how to get around that vehicle quite easy. Just move to the left enough to get over the rumble strip, the runner will scoot right by. When it's safe for one vehicle to pass the other, then that happens. If you move out into lane 2 on Highway 160, moving at 5 miles an hour because you want to chit-chat with a runner, now you become a problem. Fast approaching vehicles behind you, even us, our own folks, and you're becoming a problem. You'll get yelled at by lots of people. Me especially, if I see it. So don't do that. Get out of the traffic lanes as quickly as you can. Our road advisory crew will be at Baker School beginning at 0700 hours Saturday morning, waving all vehicles onto the school property to mark the windows of your team number. You have that done already, they're going to wave you through straight ahead. Once you're on Highway 127, you're going to realize quickly, for those that are new in this race, there are a lot of cars out there, a lot of traffic, and everything moves slow. So getting from one place to another will not be quick. Coming from Las Vegas backwards onto the course. Many people do this. Running stage 17, 18, even 16. If you're going to do this, then again, mark those windows in your car yourself. We do not have a location out there to do this. Be sure that you're making your left-hand turn legally and safely. Stage 17 today has a brand new center divider, about a 4-foot concrete center divider. There's only one location moving from Las Vegas going westbound on 160 to make a U-turn to get to 17. One location only. It's on our website. It's on our maps. Look at that. You're going to be doing this in the dark 30s, so there's no sign out there. There's no street lights out there. You do have to look for the sign. Make the U-turn. Go back to 17. 18, 19, 20, all located in town. You'll have no difficulties there. Over 270 porta potties on the race course. One location only. One location only. Stage 16 is the porta potty there, passable for the ladies. Rest of the course, sorry, it's not. And if you're a 4 o'clock starter, then you better prepare yourself for the toilet paper being gone and the toilet in questionable shape. That's just how it is. Okay. We have placed porta potties because there was a great suggestion out on the race course for the follow vehicle crew to use. I will get you that map. You'll see those locations. You'll see a porta potty where you've never saw one before, and that is for the follow vehicle's use. Reflective vests. And David, how many are left in the pile over there?
I don't know.
A lot. Okay, that's what my kids say, a lot. 1900, the vest goes on. 1900 sharp. This is the race time right here. Not your GPS clock, not your cell phone, this right here. I give this to the starter. I tell the starter what time it is. I tell the command post what time it is. Go by that time. You will hear the announcement if you're around a station. When it says at 1900 hours, everybody wears a vest. No one starts a stage without a vest after 1900. You're in a stage when it turns 1900. No, you don't have to have the vest on, but the next runner will. 0700 hours, you can take the vest off. 7 to 7, simple as possible. Bib numbers. The white bib number, the running number, is issued by the RV support at the exchange point. They will issue the number to you. They will hand the runner one number, and they'll tell that runner, go back and fill out the back of the medical information. I will send you the medical information format. Give that to your runners and say, here are the questions. Do you know your doctor's name? Do you even have a doctor? What's their phone number? Are you allergic to these things? Simple questions, but if you don't have the answers, you're scratching your head out there at stage 9 trying to answer the questions. When you have that completed, you'll come back to the RV support. They will hand you both numbers, front and back. Your chest, not your shorts. Don't crumple the number up. Leave it as is, front and back. Your catchers. Your catchers will wear a reflective vest and the team number on their chest front. Very simple. It can be any number. I'm going to give you 10 green numbers, but you could use yellow numbers, white numbers, make your own up. It doesn't matter to me. As long as the incoming runner, number 19, has a catcher with number 19 and an outgoing runner, number 19, they're good. What's going to happen here, and it happens at every race, is here comes 19. There is no 19 runner going outbound, but the catcher's there. Well, that's nice, but no outbound runner. So we wait. Or there's 2 runners and no catcher. Okay, now there is going to be a penalty assigned to that team for not having a catcher there. Every runner will get a tertiary examination by the medical staff. When you can answer the questions, you can drink the water, and you're still standing, then it's probably a fast release of that runner. If you're a little wobbly, they're going to look at you. If you're a lot wobbly, they're going to treat you. But that's going to happen at every single exchange point. Again, the alternate numbers will be issued to you. You give them to the follow vehicle. That's where the alternate runner rides, in the follow vehicle. And if they're lucky, they don't run. If they're not so lucky, then they get stage 15. They probably wouldn't want that, but that might happen. You'll get those alternate bib numbers. If you substitute a runner, which will happen, if you substitute a runner at an exchange point, there is no penalty for this. If that runner that no-showed on you shows up later, you can put them back into your alternate pool or use them where you wish. Our first runner. The first runner needs to be at the stage 30 minutes prior to the start of the race. There's much that goes on there. Issuing the baton, making sure we have everybody. Follow car in the right place has been moved from check-in to staging. How do you like our new signs? Yeah, I thought they turned out pretty good. We will have these stage signs at every single stage, including follow vehicle check-in. which might hopefully answer a few problems that pop up every year when a team goes to the wrong location and they're at the starting line and they say, "Why are you here?" "Well, we're here to check in." "Well, you're in the wrong place." No team can start the race until every single one of their vehicles has been checked in, moved to staging, pre-positioned, and ready to go. I stopped in a Shoshone about a week and a half ago, roamed over to the gas pump, of which there is no advertising for its price. I said, "Geez, I wonder what gas is right here." $4.75 a gallon. If you're desperate, you'll take the $4.75. Fill up. And not a problem that creeps up too much anymore, I don't believe anyway. Leaving a runner at a stage, taking all their clothes, leave them there, and say, "Run your leg, we'll meet you at the other end." And just leave them there hours in advance of when they're going to run. Don't abandon somebody like this. If you're a transport situation, be sure that you've given them a list and say, "Don't leave stage 6 until these 4 people are in your vehicle." Because if you do, you're going to leave somebody behind. And there they are, trying to thumb a ride down the race course. Now let me get into stage 16. Very difficult. I can't make that any greater an issue for you. It is a difficult situation. We can't change it. The parking at stage 16 is extremely limited. At the registration in Las Vegas or in Baker, you're going to be issued a placard. Your team number is on it, your team name is on it. That vehicle that transports the number 16 runner will have that placard right front dashboard of their car. They will pick up runner number 15 because they're going to act as the catcher. So they'll pick up number 15. They'll let number 16 out and off they start running. You will never make it to 17. Don't plan on it. You will not make it. I don't care how slow your number 16 runner is. You won't make it in time. So go back to the drawing board if that's how you thought you were going to do this. They're going to get waved right in. We will not pick up the placard this time. You're going to get waved right into this very narrow dirt road that leads about 1,000 feet up to a little small clubhouse, where about 10 or 12 volunteers are assigned to make parking as quick as possible. And we're going to try to make that as expedite as quick as possible. There is no parking on the roadway near stage 16. We have contracted with the Nevada Highway Patrol to place a unit right there. Lights on and a unit will be right there. Their job is to slow everybody down, of course, but it's also to say, don't park on that side of the roadway. You cannot park there. You can't walk across the road to get to stage 16. Baker School. In the past, we've done many, many different things with Baker School. This last few years, I thought it was much easier than to try to scratch around and looking for donations and such to say, every single team in this race, $50 of your money is being donated to that school. Well, the grand total of 278 teams is $13,900. That check will be made, that check will be handed to the Baker School superintendent for their use in their athletic program. If you drive by the school today, tomorrow, next week, right out front, and proudly so, is a sign, home of the Challenge Cup Relay. It's a nice gesture on their part to have done that many, many years ago, and we support them, and they support us. And remarkably enough, there is support that you would never imagine is needed. But only state governments and peculiar ways they do things would cause this to happen. But in order to get an encroachment permit from the state of California Department of Transportation, we needed to have a nonprofit in the area in which the race is conducted to support our race. Now, how many towns are there in our race course? Let's see. There's Baker, and there's the Crowbar and the Market, you want to call Shoshone. And that's it. So Baker has gone to bat for us. They've given us that ability to have a nonprofit support our race, and we get our permit. So you get support in all sorts of ways, many different places, and they support our race, so we support them. And we hope that their athletic program does well. They're a small school, 275 K to 12. So if you call it Baker High School, you're wrong. K to 12. For those that have ever attended a school like that, then you know everybody knows everybody else when there's only 275 total students. Who got missed? Damn, I missed somebody. Well, while I think about who I've missed here, I missed someone here. Let's go over to the raffles. What do we have ready? Have you filled out your raffle tickets? You haven't filled them out. Fill them out right now and get them over here. I'll mention that. Okay, thanks. I don't see any more yellow ones being filled out, so we're going to draw. Oh, a last minute jump in here. All right, here we go. This is the winner of a Fire 7 tablet. Michelle Lopez. Where are you, Michelle?
See me over here.
Run fast, you're the winner. All right, a couple of last minute things here. I want to mention them, very important. One's not a new wrinkle. This has been done now for many, many years. I was asked to come down and see this, and I said, you know, on Sunday, I am so tired that I dare not drive a car. I'd crash. And most of the time, I spend it sipping on some coffee and snoozing half the time. On the table is an invitation to the Maloof Museum of Cars. 150 vintage cars. So get in one and drive it, see what happens to you. But this flyer's on the table. The invitation is there for you, for your teams. There must be somebody on your squad that's a vintage car collector. And if you are, I'm sure this would impress the life out of you, that particular collection. So you're more than welcome to go there and see it. We'll make sure that this is on the website, so you'll see it there as well. Mel reminded me, is a catcher needed at the finish line? The answer is yes. We've had a request, and we're going to pass this along to the OIC of the finish line. A grizzled, hardcore Metro Sergeant of long ago, Dave Wells, and we're going to ask Dave to corral the end of the race, where normally there's a whole flock of people, scoot them out of the way, allow that finisher to come in there without the process of going through a big crowd, but you will need a catcher at the finish. We'll bring them into the finish right as we see their name announced or their number announced, coming that last couple hundred feet, and we'll make sure that your catcher is in there. But yes, you will need one. Now, a brand new wrinkle, brand new. Reuben Crane here went out to the race course to take a look at the logistics and the electronic happening of doing this. This is what's going to occur. At stage 20 and at the finish line, a camera is going to be set up so that on the website, you will see a link that you can watch this live. And you'll see those people struggle through stage 20, make that exchange. And if you're watching the finish line, you'll watch people finish. And as often happens, as I'm standing around there, someone will come up and say, has the FBI Los Angeles team finished yet? And I'll say, what's their team number? Oh, they'll go back, figure that out, come back to me again, and I'll say, yeah, an hour ago, you're late. You've been sleeping. Sorry, they're done. Or no, they haven't finished yet, camp out and wait for them. So stage 20 will give you some indication of who that last team is or where that team is coming from. And at the finish line, you'll be able to see this in live. No audio, so all the screaming and yelling won't be there, but you will be able to see the finish line on this particular link. It's a different idea. We're going to give that a shot and see where it goes. My last thing, and I brought this up once before. I thought it was a neat idea. I haven't seen it yet. I'll put it into the minutes. This is a material that if you put it on your skin becomes reflective. And in particular, the nighttime stages around 16, 15 might be a very good idea to try this. So the product is here. I'll put it in the minutes. Try it on your runners. I tried it on bib number itself. It doesn't work. It won't stay on. Okay? It's like a gloss and it just doesn't work there. But on the skin, it does. And it's reflective. Good to see. We look like skeletons out there running. All right, folks, I've tried to conduct these meetings in an hour's time and give everybody as much information as humanly possible. It'll go out in the minutes. For those that are watching live, they saw me live. For those that want to watch it in replay, you can do that too. You have a short amount of time, as we have a short amount of time, to get yourself totally ready to go. Spend your time on this, polish it up. You cannot polish a rock enough. And you'll go through this event safely, quickly, and hopefully successfully for you, as it is for us. Thanks. See you out on the race course.